Hello and welcome to my community on Afrocentric Television channel 15.8. This is a station that revolves around the Africans in diaspora, especially here in Houston, to bring to you events coming up in Houston. As you have known, and as I've always said, Houston is the most diverse cultural heritage and city of the United States. And so, we have two things we want to talk about today. The events coming up representing Nigeria, or being put together by Namc'S, a Nigerian-American multicultural council, but it's called Afrifest, which is an event for Africans, especially in the Houston area communities. They bring everybody together just to enjoy the culture, the traditions, the arts, the music, the fashion. And it's an outdoor event, so you can't but enjoy it. It's going to come up on September 14 between noon and 8 p.m. It's a Saturday, and it's usually going to be outdoor at HBU, that's Houston Baptist University on Fondren. But the second one is one that saddens me. It's about some Nigerians that were indicted. Be they Igbo, Yoruba, or Hausa, it does not even matter. They are first Nigerians. That is the first identifier. And that saddens me that we have our youth, whom we believe are the leaders and the future of tomorrow. But guess what? They're into frauds. And that saddens me. So, but anyway, before we talk about those, let's take a break. Stay tuned.
Hello, sport fans. Welcome to another exciting episode of my Sport on My Community TV show right here on Afrocentric Television station. My name is Bayonle Arashi. It's always a joy and a pleasure coming your way every week to bring you the best news, highlights, and information around the world of sport. Straight to what I have for you this week on the show. Chilean forward Alexis Sanchez has arrived Italy to seal his season-long loan move from Manchester United to Internazionale Milan. Inter Milan, the 30-year-old will undergo his medical before sealing his departure for the San Siro. Inter will pay around £4.5 million of Sanchez's salary, but will not have an option to buy the 30-year-old at the end of the season. And as part of the deal, of course, Sanchez impressed in Chile's Copa America campaign this summer, but is yet to feature for Manchester United this season after suffering an injury during the third-place playoff of the Copa America, which was held in Brazil. Sanchez did play some friendly games for Manchester United behind closed door. He featured for them versus Sheffield United as he continued his rehabilitation. Inter, as you know, already signed former Manchester United striker, now of course Romelu Lukaku, for a fee of around £73 million. And of course, he already started scoring goals for Inter Milan. He featured for them in the week 1 of Serie A last week against Lecce, scoring the third goal of that particular game. And of course, with the departure of Alexis Sanchez and Romelu Lukaku, Manchester United will now be left with the option of striking force of Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, and of course 17-year-old Mason Greenwood as striking option for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Many Manchester United fans are mad right now. They are really going crazy on social media, saying that it looks like Manchester United is becoming a club of such a class like Sheffield United, with all due respect, Norwich and the likes right now, as they will be featuring in the UEFA Europa League. And it's not looking very well for them. Even Chelsea actually have a better striking force than Manchester United at the moment. But of course, moving on now, but still regarding Manchester United, LA Galaxy striker Zlatan Ibrahimovic has come out on Wednesday morning saying that he will be open for a return to Manchester United if the club still wants him to come help them, as he sees that they are looking to be in big trouble right now. The 37-year-old Swede has scored 46 goals in 49 matches since moving to the Major League Soccer in March 2018. Zlatan said, "I could play easy in the Premier League, so if United needs me, I am here," he said. Ibrahimovic scored 28 goals in his debut season in 2016 and 2017 for Manchester United before suffering a knee injury. His 2-year contract was then terminated, and of course, Zlatan went ahead to move to the United States in the Major League Soccer, and he has done so well for LA Galaxy. That must be said. He scored some great goals in his debut versus LAFC. I remember that game highlight very, and he's still scoring goals right here in the Major League Soccer. But do you think Zlatan Ibrahimovic still have it for Manchester United? Can he still do it? Do you think Manchester United should go for this striker? If Manchester United will be needing his service, they will have to wait till the January transfer window, of course, as the MLS season is still hotting up right now, but they will have some break in November or thereabout, and maybe Zlatan could return to Old Trafford to help Manchester United out. Manchester United, they have all the option of signing big players in the transfer window, but it doesn't look like they had that determined to sign any major player this summer. Well, from here, we can only wish them the best, and hopefully something good happens for Manchester United. Moving on to the UEFA awards right now. UEFA would have named its Men's Player of the Year as at the time this show will be airing today. Of course, today being Thursday, with Liverpool defender Virgil van Dijk up against Juventus forward Cristiano Ronaldo, and of course Barcelona Lionel Messi for the award. Aren't you tired of hearing these two guys' names for the past 12 years? They have been the most consistent athletes the world have ever seen. I'm talking about none other than Ronaldo and of course Messi. These guys are competing with Virgil van Dijk for that award again this year. But of course, by now you already know who that award went to, of course, as UEFA earlier today had the awards and of course had the fixture for the UEFA Champions League and the UEFA Europa League for this season released earlier today, Thursday. Of course, last year, Luka Modric, of course, ended Ronaldo's and Messi's dominance of the award, and Virgil van Dijk will be probably hopeful maybe that man will be the UEFA Men's Player of the Year. Of course, he did very well for Liverpool Football Club on their way to winning the UEFA Champions League last season. And of course, the country, of course, Netherlands, also performed very well at several tournaments they were part of. Do you think Virgil van Dijk, if he is the winner, do you think he deserves it? Or should Messi or Ronaldo win it again? Because if any of them does win it again, definitely they would have outdone each other, as they both have 5 of that award each in the last 10 years. Of course, moving on now to the final story on today's sport episode of my sport on my community TV show. Togo's Emmanuel Sheyi Adebayor has joined Turkish club Kayserispor on a 1-year deal. The former Arsenal, Manchester City and Tottenham striker, now 35-year-old, of course, has been a free agent since leaving rivals Istanbul Başakşehir in the summer. This is a league I know very well, Sheyi Adebayor said, and he feels happy to be playing for that club. Adebayor, who scored 28 goals in 76 appearances for Başakşehir, said just when he signed for that club in Turkey, "We can only do something great together," Adebayor also said, "and I want to make a positive contribution to the great quality already here at the club. There are many African players in that football club, Kayserispor. Nigerians are there, Kotun are there, Cameroonian players are there in that club." And of course, Sheyi Adebayor will definitely fit in very well in his 9th professional club since leaving his native Togo in 2001, and has previously played for French club Metz and Monaco, Crystal Palace, as well as European football powerhouse Real Madrid. Nobody ever believed that Adebayor could go that far, but that guy has played for some of the best football clubs you have ever seen or can't imagine. And you know now that Sheyi Adebayor's mentor and hero is our own Papilo Kanu Nwakwo. This is about the best I have for you this week on this week's episode of my Sport on Community on my community show. It's been my pleasure bringing it to you. Special thanks to my producer Ayodele for always being there for me and for always inspiring this episode of the show, of course. Till I see you again next week, God willing. My name is Bayonle Arashi. Keep doing sports. God bless you guys. Bye-bye now.
Hi, my name is DJ Mixmaster Brown, president of the PDJs, and I'm Afrocentric. Work.
This is Shea Lesh. I am Afrocentric.
You're gonna be arrested, right?
Sometimes, somewhere, somehow, someday, you'll need us. Westcott Law Group, let us fight for you.
Westcott Law Group is at 9525 Business Street, Suite 270, right in the Chase Bank Building, Houston, Texas 77036, 832-831-1412, or visit my case at westcottlawgroup.com.
Hello and welcome back to my community on Afrocentric Television Channel 15.8. You know, this is a show that revolves around the African community in the diaspora and by extension the United States. This is Houston we're talking about in particular. And today is going to be about an event that is coming up in Houston. You know, Houston, as diverse as it is, we always try to, maintain our culture and bring people to power on what we do regarding, either, our music, entertainment, arts, and culture for the most part, fashion, all the artists are wearing Ankara and stuff now. So, but today, to talk about the upcoming event is one of our very own, in fact. I don't know, I'm not going to try to introduce her. I would like for her to introduce herself because she's a woman of many talent, or woman, lady, a beautiful Nigerian, proudly. She's so to me successful in her career, from transitioning from being a chemical engineer to being a project manager, to be a business analyst, and now an attorney, and she's being an associate with Haynes and Boone, the top law firms in Houston. Her name is Abi Kotun, but I'll call her by her Nigerian name that you would know, Modinat Abi Kotun. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Like I told my audiences and my viewers that I'm not going to try to introduce you. Okay. But I need you to please tell us who Abi Kotun is.
Sure, that's such a deep question, but I'll answer the question you're asking. So I have lived in the Houston area most of my life. I'm a chemical engineer. I went to engineering school at the University of Houston.
That's where my daughter goes to school.
It's a wonderful school, go Cougs. And so I'm a chemical engineer. I worked for a little while as an engineer. Like you said, I did a little bit of project management, business analyst. I was a process engineer on projects. And then I decided it was time to go back to law school. And so I went to the University of Houston Law Center, go Cougs again, and became a lawyer. And since then, I've been, practicing as a labor and employment attorney. I spent some time at Haynes and Boone, like you said. I'm currently at Winstead, and I do employment law on the management side. Throughout my time, I guess after high school, I've been active in the community. I started out as an active member of the Nigerian Students Association at the University of Houston. And since then, I've been in organizations like AfriPro, which was African professionals here in Houston. I'm currently in the Nigerian-American Multicultural Council as NAMC'S, as the Vice President of Outreach. And that's one of the programs we're going to talk about is led by NAMC'S. I'm also active in the legal community, and so in the past I've been a president of the Houston Lawyers Association. I'm currently the chair of the African-American Lawyers section of the State Bar of Texas, which is kind of the group of lawyers for the state.
I know for a fact you're not 50.
No, I'm not 50.
Okay,
thank you.
So I look at the achievement so far is, it's, I don't know, man. How do you do it?
Time management, God. I don't know. Like, I think that when you want to put your mind to something, you can get it done.
And
so,
that should be right.
Yeah. So it's been fun. I mean, I think, you know, I'm active in church as well, so that's another part of my life. But I think you just, you know, segment, you plan properly, and then you apply yourself to what's important. Yeah, I do.
You give back. Even some of your birthday, especially, do you do this? I think I'm going to win the next year birthday giveaway, and you're still able to wear the hat and still support events in the community. You do a lot of givebacks. You know, being the African American chapter of the Houston Association of Lawyers or something like that.
That's Houston Lawyers Association.
Past president-elect for the African American or the Houston General Lawyers, right?
Oh no. Well, okay. So I was president of the Houston Lawyers Association, which you can't tell from its name that it's the organization of black lawyers, but it is.
Yeah. So that's why I was.
Yeah.
I needed to, you know,
to make that clear.
And former Paya or Yapa, you were with them, some young African professionals?
Yes, so I'm currently in the Professional Association of Young Africans. That's Paya. I'm a member. A predecessor for Paya was AfriPro Houston, African Professionals Houston.
Gotcha.
So I was president of that back in the day. Paya's doing great work now.
So you are the vice president of Namc'S.
Yes, one of them. We have many.
Yeah, for outreach. Right?
Yes.
And I guess led by Mrs. Yemi Koyejo.
Yes.
Right?
Our fearless leader.
Yeah. So, but the event coming up is called Afrifest.
Yes.
Namc'S is Nigerian-American Multicultural Council.
Yes.
But this is Afrifest. This encompasses all African countries.
Correct.
Right? And this is Houston. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So Afrifest this year will be our 7th year putting the program together. And I remember when we created the first one a long time ago, we wanted to do something that, yes, shows Nigerian culture, but also partners with other African nations, so that we are showing Houston that Africa is not a country, but it is a continent of many different nations.
Than just Nigeria or Ghana or
it's not just
Ethiopia
the ones they know,
or Cameroon, because I mean there's always this speculation, or maybe it's don't let me say this on air, but, you know, I think ignorantly people call Africa and they assume it is a country.
Right.
How many countries do we have in Africa?
Many.
So but you know, the misconception is Africa. Where are you from? Africa. No, I am Nigerian.
Right.
I am Cameroonian, Ethiopian, all of those. So Afrifest is bringing all of them together.
Yes, trying, definitely.
Yeah, at least in the past you've had other countries like Cameroon, Ethiopia, Ghana, Kenya, all of those come together to, you know, celebrate with the, you know, the culture.
Yes.
And how, you said this has been in existence for the past 6 years. This is the 7th one.
That's correct.
What should people expect this time that you've not done, or that you're doing differently? I know every year it keeps growing. That's why you're still, of course, having it. So what should we expect this year?
Well, you should expect bigger and better. So it's Afrifest started out as the Festival of African Arts, Culture, and Entertainment. So you're going to get that. You're going to get arts, you're going to get culture, you're going to get entertainment, you're going to get food, you're going to get performances on the stage. We also have a kids area, so the whole family
So
is
bring your children.
Yes.
And I learned children are free.
Yes, children are free. We have lots of programs that are specifically for them. We have Elizabeth Kahura. She's an arts lady. She does storytelling. She gets them to play drums, to do different things throughout. We have a bouncy castle. We have face painting, balloon animals, all of that. But then we also have 80 vendors. We will have 80 vendors in attendance, and they will be selling 80, and they will be selling all kinds of things. They'll be selling food, and we have a cross section of food establishments, not just Nigerian food, but other African nations. We have an Africa zone where the different African countries that are partnering with us will each have a booth, and they'll be showcasing their country and what's different about them, what's similar about them. And then we have crafts vendors. We have your big companies like Reptel, which is being rebranded as Majority. We have lots of different things for people to come out and see.
So, but you've always been a part of this from inception.
I was part of the initial committee that put the festival together.
Personally, what has been your most memorable experience?
Most memorable Afrifest? Let's see. I think the first year we had Jajo there. He was the host.
The dance workout instructor.
Yes. He was the host, and it was just amazing. He hosted all day, but at the end we had a dance-off, and so the last hour was just dancing. And he was up at the front, and there were children, older people, younger people doing all of the choreographed dance.
Participate, because I know he plays African music. And that's danceable too.
Yes.
So you won't feel like you're working out, but you're actually working out while having fun at the same time.
Absolutely. And it was such a multicultural gathering of people, because Afrifest is not just attended by Nigerians or Africans. The greater Houston community supports. And so everyone was doing a little bit of African dance together.
I remember volunteering, I think that would be like some 5-6 years ago. I was with Bumi Ama. I was with her at the time. I volunteered, and I had such a great time. My family came out to support.
Yeah.
So we know there are many. Do you know the number of countries from Africa that will be participating in this time?
We still have people confirming. We're up to about 5 or 6 different countries, including Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria will be represented, Angola, Benin.
Oh, Angola, nice. Benin Republic, beautiful. I need to know what they do with their, because they're right next door to Nigeria. Right. So, where can people get the tickets to this event? And let us know if there'll be discounts for maybe senior citizens, or if they're going to be able to get it for free, college students and whatnot.
Okay, so we have a website. You can go to our website, namchouston.org/Afrifest, and all of the information you need is there. It'll talk about entertainment, vendors, sponsors, and of course tickets. You can also find it on Eventbrite, and just search for Afrifest on Eventbrite. Tickets are $5 pre-sale and $10 at the door. Students are free. That's any student. You have a student ID, you're in for free. That's
so if I'm doing a master's or something, I can get it for free.
Yep.
Okay.
Or if you're 5 years old, you're free. So kids are free. Seniors are free, and we define seniors as 60 and above. And so everyone that's not covered by one of those free categories, you should definitely get your ticket ahead of time. Get multiple tickets and just invite people on the day.
Yeah, because it's affordable anyway. Lent is just about $5 a day.
Yes,
$5.
That's it.
So people should be able to come in. Come on. The organizing body, which is Namc'S. Can you tell us a little bit about what Namc'S stands for and what they do? Sure. And what inspired Namc'S to start Afrifest?
Sure. So Namc'S is an organization that is dedicated to building a vibrant community of Nigerians, but not just Nigerians, Nigerians that are here in America. We want to make sure that our community is lifted up so that we can lift each other up. And so Namc'S does a variety of things. Afrifest is one of them, but we also do programs for high school students. We have one program for high school students that is called College Readiness, and that should be coming up the remainder of this year.
That's usually done at HBU, right?
Yes, also done at HBU.
My daughter attended 2-3 times before choosing University of Houston. Yeah.
Awesome. So we walk them through the college admissions process. We have college students there to tell them what it's about, how to get in. what college life is about, and then we have college like counselors that are there to tell them about different schools and their different options. We also have another program for high school students, and that program is called Career Discovery. And so we have different professionals come out and tell them about the different careers that are options for them. We know that Nigerians and Africans also like their kids to be doctors and lawyers and engineers, and we have those careers represented, but we also want to make sure that they know that they can do artistic things. They can be photographers, fashion,
Makes them happy.
right, and makes them money. So we tell them about different things there in Career Discovery. That's usually held in the summer. We have also, let's see, we have Afrifest, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. We have an annual gala, which is our fundraiser. We do professional events, events for professionals. And what we do is we try to get executives that are in the C-suite and have been successful here in America come tell us, those of us that are still working and maybe more junior, how they were successful. And we get to ask them questions. And we've had the likes of Case Lawal and Shola Oyinlola present for those, and they answer questions. And it's our way of kind of doing group mentoring for our community. So those are some of our key flagship programs. We started Afrifest because we wanted to have some kind of community event that brings the entire family together. We have high school programs, we have professional programs, but we didn't have one program that was for everyone. And so Afrifest was created for that.
For that purpose.
Yeah, and also to show the greater Houston community who we are. And I have to say this because it's kind of appropriate for what's in the news. People have seen Africa or Nigeria through a person they've met or through the news. And sometimes what they see on the news is negative. And what Namc'S is trying to do is show the world and show the greater Houston community that there are a bunch of us out there, and we are not the one instance of a Nigerian that you have seen in the past.
So this is one of the reasons why Namc'S and Afrocentric need to work much more together. Here's the platform where we will be showcasing everything Namc'S is doing to the world, right? We'll air it, they'll see it, because I mean, we just need to change the narrative.
Absolutely.
The perspective out there is, you know, you can imagine they're not identifying hero as hero. They're saying the Nigerian. Just because you caught one doesn't. What about the 99.99% of us that are doing well, that are working, that are? I mean, I understand people have their past sometimes, but you know, now is that time. We need to even tell the world who we really are.
Yeah.
Don't let the 1 or 0.1% define who we truly are.
Yeah.
And that's why we appreciate you, you know, bringing the community together to come experience the other side of what they hear or see on TV.
Absolutely.
Right? So would there be food truck?
Yes, food trucks are welcome, and we have a few food trucks already signed
I
up.
love food.
Yes. Now, I'm not sure if there are any Nigerian food trucks, so that's an idea for someone out there, but we will have different food trucks in attendance.
Yeah, because, I mean, I like varieties. Right?
Exactly.
So I travel around just to go eat sometimes, you know.
Absolutely.
On entertainment, who's going to be on stage?
Sure. So I only remember a few of them. One of the entertainers is Eman Legrand, I think. I think he's confirmed, but he's one of the entertainers.
The way you said that, you speak Spanish?
No, and I think that might be French. But I remember how our entertainment. Legrand. I don't speak French, but I do speak Spanish. But who knows? I'm just saying it the way I heard it. We also have Batala. They are a drumming group, and they have like Afro. Latin, influences both. So they're also a confirmed entertainer. And then the stage is from the event is from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. with entertainment on the stage.
So
Out
8
there.
p.m. What day?
On September 14th, Saturday, September
That's a
14th.
Saturday. So there's room enough for me to relax on Sunday before going to work on Monday.
Yes.
Right. Since what Namc'S does is to promote our culture and businesses and even offer them mentorship, two questions came to mind. One of the things we forget, even while we're trying to promote our culture, is our language. Does Namc'S do anything in regards to educating or teaching our children the language of the land?
Good question. So we have not had any programs ourselves on teaching language, but we've been approached by lots of different organizations to do that, or companies to do that. And so at this year's Afrifest, we should have Yoruba classes available. We're still working on whether we can do other languages as well, because that's a Nigerian language, and we'd like to have Igbo as well to balance it out for Nigeria. But then also it'd be great to have Swahili. So we are still working on language classes for Afrifest and also in general as a program that NAMC'S offers.
You said there are still, the second question is tilted towards business. You said there are still room for vendors to come through. So that means NAMC'S and Afrifest support small businesses?
Absolutely, definitely. I think that that Afrifest is a great way for small businesses to reach the community. Yes, and I think, you know, I go to different festivals like this, and I go around and I ask the vendors, how are you doing, like, you know, as far as sales, and I'm happy to hear it when they're doing well. But many of our vendors that come to Afrifest, they come year after year because they sell. It's an opportunity for exposure for sure, but it's also a great way to sell, and our vendors actually sell. We have 80 total vendor spaces, and 66 of those are already taken, so we only have 14 spaces.
So
and we
that's
also
an
have
opportunity for others to how can they become a vendor?
Same place. You can go to namcchouston.org/Afrifest and click on vendors, and you can become a vendor there.
Any more information? So it's going to be on the
September 14th.
14th, Saturday, September 14th,
Yes.
from 12 noon till 8 p.m.
Correct.
Expect so much. What website can they go? Do you have your social media handle?
Yes.
That you want to let our audience know, you know,
Sure.
how they can reach NAMC'S and of course Afrifest, because I know, I think it's namc's.org/Afrifest,
Yes.
or namc'shouston.org/Afrifest.
Yes. So our website, like he said, is namc'shouston.org/Afrifest. If you want Afrifest information, you can go there for everything about the festival. You can go there for vendors, sponsors, and to buy tickets. You can also find tickets online if you search Eventbrite for Afrifest. Let's see. If you have any questions and you'd like to ask me by email, my email address is abbykotun@namc'shouston.org. That's abbykotun@namc'shouston.org, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
See, you even throw it out there. So
Yeah.
you're ready for them. So this is going to be a huge one. Before I let you go, you know, if I'm a business person and I want to prepare myself to come advertise my business at Afrifest or at the event, one of the things I'll look out for is how many people has been in attendance in the past, and what is the expectation like this year. So
Right. So, you know, I have to pay a little bit of homage to Hurricane Harvey. That was about 2 years ago at around this time.
I was on the plane actually. When it
really?
happened. Yeah, I got
Wow.
stuck in Atlanta. It was
Oh,
just
wow.
funny. Yeah, for days, for like a week. I couldn't make it back to Houston.
Wow. So we all kind of remember Hurricane Harvey. And then if I flash back 2 years to Hurricane Harvey, we were planning our festival, which was supposed to happen some weeks after Harvey. And so we still went ahead with our festival. We thought it was a great opportunity for people to leave their problems at home for a few hours and come out to the festival. Yeah. And so we had people in attendance, but definitely not as much as you would normally expect. Last year in 2018, we had over 2,500 people in attendance. We expect that to increase this year. We're doing a lot of outreach to different markets, and so we are really hopeful that this year will be even greater than past years.
I hope so too.
We pray so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, so we look forward to being a part of this. It's only going to cost you $5 if you're like me. You know, you're working class and, you know, you're between the ages of college and, of course, 60. You can get it for $5. You can buy for others too, you know. But the beautiful thing is, if you're senior, they classify that 60 and above, and also if you're a college student, you just come with your ID, showcase your ID, and you can get them for free. Children are also free, and you can get your ticket. Search for Afrifest, right, on Eventbrite, and you can go directly to their website on NAMC, that is NAMC Houston.org. youtube.com/Afrifest, and you'll get the information in one day. And if you have personal question, like she said, her email is abbykotun@namcchouston.org. That is abbykotun@namcchouston.org. Stay tuned. I will be right back.
Hi, I'm Abby Kotun, an attorney here in Houston, and I'm Afrocentric.
Hi everyone, I'm Doing Fashakin of Doing Fash Events LLC, and I am Afrocentric.
If you're a high school student or a college student between the ages of 14 and 30 in the Houston area, register now to win a $1,000 scholarship. All you have to do is go to www.nigeriandayinhouston.com, choose a topic, and do a project on that topic. Projects are due September 29th, 2019. Winners will be announced on September 29th also at the Nigerian Day Festival at Royal Palace Hall at 6 p.m.
Are you looking to buy a new or pre-owned vehicle, a sedan, truck, or SUV? Sterling McCall Toyota has got your back. With over 2,000 vehicles in stock, you can get a great deal of a lifetime. Lekon Alalikon. The sales consultant will make that happen. Good or bad credit? Call 832-807-3581. With over 5 years sales experience, Lekon Alalikon will help you navigate through the complexities of buying your dream car. Full service care, 2-year free oil change and tire rotation, plus 36,000 bumper-to-bumper coverage. Just call Lekon Alalikon of Sterling McCall Toyota on 832-807-3581. Better still, come on over to Sterling McCall Toyota, 9400 Southwest Freeway, Houston, Texas, 77074. Be sure to ask for Lekon Olalikon to get a special promo deal. 0% on Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and Tundra. Lekon Olalikon, 832-807-3581. Email at lagishin@sterlingmccalltoyota.com.
Welcome back to My Community on Afrocentric Television Channel 15.8. You know, this is that station that brings about what's happening in the whole world, especially in the diaspora. And in this regard, we're talking about the United States, Houston for a start. Lately, there's been so many things in the media, one of which is the 77, some say it's 88, some say it's 80 people that were indicted, that were arrested by the FBI for a huge, I can't even imagine, that's a lump sum. And for the fact that there is a representing Nigerian by the name of Obi, whose company is Invictus, that led this is someone, a young, vibrant, assumed young, vibrant chap out of Nigeria that is running a company and is doing very well at it, even on the front cover of Forbes a few years ago, and had given talks at TED Talk and all of those things. And yet, we're yet to find, where does Nigeria lie in all of this? Is it okay to generalize us as Nigeria or quantify everybody as being fraudulent? Or just make him the scapegoat and the others that are well with him? But here to talk about all of these things is one of my friends, my brother. I've known this gentleman for, I don't know, since 2002, 2001. I was still fresh off the boats then, don't mind me. So, but now, here to join us today is Mr. Tunde TC Koka. I call him TC. He's a licensed attorney, both in Nigeria and United States, and he's with Lawal and Koka PC. Welcome to the show, Mr. Koka.
Thank you.
TC, as I fondly call you, tell me, why do you think there is a need or there is no need to fight back? Or where do you think we lie with regards to the ongoing activity regarding fraud about Nigeria and Nigerians in diaspora especially?
Let me start by saying that no nation, community of nations, or individual should condone fraud.
Right.
And I will also say that it's very disheartening to hear that kind of news, that Nigerians were involved in such a crime of high magnitude.
That's not new. That's not something new. So don't we have Nigerians that are doing excellently well? At least I know for a fact I've been interviewing people. I've known people in my network of Nigerians that are doing excellently well in the United States, but we don't see them on TV. We don't see them on social media. We don't hear about them. We don't talk about them. But if one person does something negative, and that changes the whole narratives, even if you've done, though they say one bad
one rotten apple is gonna spoil
the rest in the basket,
yes.
right? So could that be the case here now, or?
Well, it is and it isn't. If you look at the news and you say Nigerians are fraudulent, does that mean that all Nigerians are fraudulent? I'll say no. Majority of Nigerians who live here in the US and in other countries work hard for their money and their pay. Majority. A very good high percentage. I'd say at least 80%. Work hard and do what they need to do and live within the rules of the society in which they live. However, like you said, one rotten apple is going to spoil the whole bunch. Maybe not in this case. But should we say that all American children carry guns and shoot in schools?
Yeah.
Or should we say that all young British citizens carry knives and stab?
Or all Muslims are
terrorists?
Yeah.
So it's, like I said, it's disheartening to find this number of Nigerians in such a high magnitude of fraud, but it is what it is. But everybody will have to speak for him or herself wherever. But it's a very bad image for Nigeria and Nigerians.
I'm talking about. So now 100 people, even 300 people did something, even 1,000 people did something. Should they all not be named individually, or should they all be generalized as Nigerians?
Well,
because where you and I stand, being Nigerian-Americans, right? Where you and I stand now, they look at us and the first thing they see is, oh, they're Nigerians. They probably don't want to associate themselves with us. I see a few companies pulling out of Nigeria, shutting down operations, and because of one thing or the other. But now the U.S. Embassy is increasing fee for visa. They're blocking out dates for visa interviews and things like that. It's a negative effect on Nigeria as a country. Meanwhile, a very minute number of people committed the crime. Why can't they go by their individual names as opposed to being just Nigerians?
Well, don't forget that America is a country that has welcomed people of every nation. And the first identifier for you is where you do come from. So if you come from Cuba, you come from Nigeria, you come from Australia, it's really where you do come from. And then take, for instance, when you fill a form, you're either black, Asian, Hispanic, or whatever. So it's all about where you come from. But then you have to narrow it down when you want to identify a person. I am Nigerian, I live here. And by my name, you can tell I'm not from here. And it's the same for 90% of the indicted people.
You have children.
Yes, I do.
Would they call themselves Nigerian-American or Nigerians or pure Americans?
I train my children to realize that they have Nigerian roots and heritage, and my children will tell you they're Nigerian-Americans because they live here.
Likewise mine, right? Because I always say probably Nigerian, because that shouldn't, that's where I'm coming from, that shouldn't be, while it's an identifier, it shouldn't be
a negative identifier.
Yeah, they define us by, you know what I mean? Because it's getting out of hand. These are youths, these are young chaps, man. So it has almost become the norm. We had Yahoo, we have Yahoo Plus, and all of those things. Even in the music industry, the entertainment industry, while some of us are thriving, they are doing very well. Just the little ones, the bad eggs, the bad apple, bad tomato, they come out there and they want to grow up so fast. They want to make a lot of money quickly. And so they indulge themselves in so many things, just get rich quick schemes and all of that. Is it that the society where they come from made it a norm, or because when you come to a society where there's law and order, even the Bible supports it, the Quran supports it, that when you come to a land where you live by the rules of that land. So why is it because it is normal in Nigeria to do that, or it is a way of life in America to just show off and to just get rich quickly? Can you help me here with some identify? Why do you think youths nowadays are doing it? Why do you think they are so much involved in it?
That's getting to the root of the matter, and it's not rocket science. Life in Nigeria is hard for youth. They find life very difficult. There's hardly any power. When you find power to use your computer, you have to maximize it. There's you can hardly move around. There are social factors. You have Boko Haram, you have herdsmen, you have armed robbers, coupled with the fact that even if you do have a good job, it'll take you so many hours to get home. You get home, there's no light. And the world is a global village. Everybody watches TV and sees life is good in America, life is good in England, and everybody wants to escape it. Now, opportunities are far and few between in Nigeria. Some are well-read, well-educated, and they're out there looking for jobs for so long. So they call it survival. They see their friends who barely has 3 O-levels driving a brand new car, and he can't even afford a used 10-year-old Toyota. And he's
so same way vice president that is well-read, a master's and an attorney, just a son at that, becoming vice president to someone that is just a high schooler.
Well, I would not dwell with that. That's a democratic process. That's numbers. That's who was chosen to be president. So
at that point, what I'm driving at is if at that point, if we can accept it there, then don't you think the youth would think is the norm? Because if you go to school, even on shows on TV, Big Brother Nigeria, where you see have naked girls and guys, they generate millions of views and millions in naira. Meanwhile, a talent show on campus, or even in elementary school, high school, or even on the higher institutions, you give them 10,000 naira. You give them 1,000 naira to support what exactly? And then you think I'll graduate school and I want to go look for a job that will pay me 50,000, 100,000 naira per month, and the cost of living is so high. So what don't you think they will tilt towards where it's easier, where I can be home as long as I have data, I can be online and scam somebody?
In any situation, scamming shouldn't be the way out. It shouldn't be what you'd resort to. Anything that's fraudulent should not be what you should resort to.
It should not be ever.
And it's a good thing you mentioned the music industry. We have the likes of Davido, we have the likes of Wizkid. They've done well for themselves locally and internationally. Yeah. Now, should a young child emulate that? Yes, you have lots of kids who want to be like Jay-Z, who want to be like Beyonce. But then the society is such that you still do not run afoul of the law. If you do, you will pay the price.
You know what's funny when you mention that? Stars here in the United States, they do pep talks with these children. They go to their schools. They tell them you have to have that foundation education first. Shouldn't our stars in Nigeria be the ambassador to saying stay out of Yahoo, stay out of fraudulent stuff? When you have your foundation should be education, and once you have that, you can your talent and everything can come into play and you can shine. Shouldn't they be the voice for the youth? I don't see most of them coming out to do anything, to say anything, other than they just want to say something, sing about something that the people want to hear, that's fun, that is entertaining.
Well, it's tough to say that because you have to lead by example. And how many of these stars live by example?
I smiled.
You know, if you're a star and you have all these flashy cars, of course, by virtue of what you do, that's what actors and actresses and musicians do. They live large and entertainment. It comes with it. But if you at 28, you're successful in the music industry, you drive a Lamborghini, of course, you will have a good voice over younger children. Yes, they should come out and support. But it's up to the
individuals or the industry.
The industry to propel a good image. But it's all what the young kids see on TV, and they don't care how they get there because they know they can get away with it. They see people get away with it. If the system in Nigeria was such that it was on top of it, where you commit a crime, you get prosecuted, and you pay the price, a lot of people will desist from it. But there's a lot of there are a lot of lapses in the system.
So who do we hold accountable? Who can we hold accountable?
I would say the government.
The government.
The government has to do a lot when it comes to the police. For a start, we're under-policed. We have a population of over 190 million, and I don't believe we have 150,000 policemen in the whole country.
So not even a ratio 0.1 to...
So we're under-policed, and the police are not well remunerated. So there's a myriad of...
Let's do a little comparison, a little quick comparison. Here in the United States, you policemen or even, you know, serving officers and those in the military, they get a lot of, incentives, right? If you want to buy a house, are you a veteran, are you serving, are you a police officer, this and that. As long as you're serving the community, you get a lot of incentives. In Nigeria, you may not even have been paid for the last 6 months, if not a year. And this pay is still a token. You're talking about 50, 70,000 naira. No, $200 per month, rather. Is that sustainable? You can't tell me to earn that, and I will not stop you looking good, and I'll say, Rogers, just so I can make a living. And that's why you see them borrowing money to these youngsters that will kidnap, that would do all of these things. And so because those ones, once they do their operatives, they come back and give them a kickback. So what do you think? Where do you think the system is? I mean, you practice both in Nigeria and in the United States, so you understand, the law and the things that is happening in those two countries. Because we're still going to come back to the point where we're saying, who do we hold accountable when even the system itself is corrupt?
Who do we hold accountable? The government. And how do we run it? Take, for instance, the police system. We've not gotten it right. In 2019, we have police who still live in barracks. Have you ever seen a police barracks in Houston, where you live here?
No.
Now, if you separate all the policemen and say, all you policemen, you all live in this barracks, an estate, and you leave everybody else on their own, what are you doing?
You've taken officers in neighborhoods. Your next door neighborhood.
You could be a police officer. And what does that do? It provides community policing.
Yes.
So
because everybody in your neighborhood, you even see poles that says Ted Heed or somebody, sheriff in town.
So we've alienated the police from us. They are them and we are us. So obviously there cannot be good relationships between the citizenry and the police because they live separate from you.
And even when you have access to them, you have one high-profile Nigerian having 10, 15 police officers as escorts.
In a country where you're under-policed anyway.
Where they are supposed to be protected people.
Well, you see, with that, the policeman who's an escort is getting paid a whole lot more than if he was on the street.
So why then do I need to be on the street? So crime will continue.
So why should one man, like you just said, have 10 escorts? It tells you that he feels insecure.
Of course, they can't feel secure. I've spoken to Acevedo, chief of police here in Houston. I shook hands. There was no bodyguards, nothing with him. I've seen Shirley Jackson, the mayor of Houston, even the secretary of state. We've met all these people. They don't have escorts.
Because the environment is policed and it's safe. They have enough policemen on the beat watching everybody, not watching a few sacred individuals. And that's where the problem lies. We need to pay them well, we need to train them well, and we need to make them, we need to not just equip them, we need to train them well, and we need to let them live amongst the people. Because if you are in a street in, quote unquote, in a remote area, say in Ojota, and you have 5 policemen living in different streets in the neighborhood, it's certain that a lot of people will know a policeman lives on this street, so the propensity for crime in that neighborhood will be lower. But if you put all the policemen in the barracks, the barracks is safe. The kids walk around the barracks 24 hours of the day, but step out 2 miles down the road, you'll be jacked up.
So, now that we have untainted youth, they come to the States, shouldn't they understand that there's a law in the land, even if they're trying to get rich quick? Understanding that where they're coming from, maybe it's a norm over there. The orientation after getting to the States should let them understand that there are things you probably get away with in your country you can't get away with in the United States. So what gave them the guts, the audacity to try to do stuff and thinking they will get away with it? Because look at this boy, the guy with the Invictus company for a start.
Obi-Wan.
That's a white-collar crime. You know, it's something you wear your suit and you sit behind the computer in a nice office and you. And sometimes I feel like those people that are being scammed are greedy. Because if you're not greedy, why would you want something? I mean, what don't you think?
It's another way to look at it, yes. It's another way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I want something that you have, that you don't just give out easily. Everybody works out for their money. Even if you're a scammer, you're still working for it, right? But which is in a negative way. But however, everybody works for the money. But I want something you have, and I'm telling you, you will get this for it. This, you know, it is unreal. You just giving it the benefit of doubt that, you know, what if it is true? That means I will have a financial breakthrough, and then you fall for it. Then it becomes something. But I learned also that they've been watching these guys for over a year. They've made $11 to $20 million. All you need in America is just $1 million to have a major break. Not even up to that. A major break. And the money can even start working for you if possible. But if possible, you can put in 100,000 here, 50,000 there, and the little comes back together at the end of the month is $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 per month. And that's good enough for you to live off of. But no, we want to ride that Lamborghini. We want to drive that Ferrari. We want to wear that Rolex. We want to have some naked girls. We want to throw the best of baby showers, and the best of parties. Why do you think such life is what the way they think it's a way of life? Why do you think that's got embedded in their heads that this is what we can do, and we can just do it, and we can do it for free in the United States?
Well, it's not like they believe they can do it for free or get away with it. The first thing you should know is the mentality. It's a mental state. And I can tell you that the ratio of Nigerian fraudsters to students in the same age bracket is very low. I must tell you, it must be 1 in 1,000. There are a whole lot of Nigerians in the US. Take for instance in Houston, there are well over 300,000 Nigerians.
Very well.
And yes, people commit crime, people make strides. You have Nigerians who are surgeons. Dr. Olutoye did a remarkable feat. He's now chief surgeon in a hospital here. You have Hakeem Olajuwon, you have Case Lawal. You have all those people. They are sung, yes. But when it comes to crime and it's a high network of people involved in the crime, yes, it will be on the news. Yes, they are Nigerians. Yes, it's not good for us because what they're doing is they're also making it difficult for the next person who wants to come and do something good and seek the promise of America and seek a better future. They're making it more difficult for those people to come in.
Because now they're turning people back at the port of entry. They're not allowing them get visa, but the visa is extended indefinitely. Now you can't even get a date now, even after you have made a payment. They now increased the fee, the visa fee. A friend of mine sent me something, and I want to read it out. You know, it says no image to protect Nigeria. It's funny that Nigerians were crying over an image that doesn't exist. They made it look like it's an ego thing. Wadome, a kidnapper, had lots of followers, built mosques, and even contested for a political post. Ganduje was caught on camera stealing, yet he was re-elected as a governor. Chief James Ibori held a Thanksgiving service after returning from the prison in the UK. A bishop called him the lights of the Urobo Kingdom. A drug peddler became a party leader in Ogun State. A drug lord built a church in a remote area in Anambra State. A drug dealer was a governor and currently a national party leader. A fraudster has headed the Green Chamber of the National Assembly. A police officer who involved in an extrajudicial execution was promoted to a high rank. The major part of the music industry is powered by the fraudster. Every form of crime is rewarded with good. Here in Nigeria, and you expect progress in such society? Most billionaires in Nigeria on Forbes lists were created by social injustice. Nigerian constitution itself, the compass of the society, is fraudulent. Professors, lecturers create a very corrupt system in the academic sector, fraudulent and corrupt tax system, corrupt and fraudulent arms of government, very large incentive. You know, it goes on and on and on and on and on. And then the last is, we are not ready yet until we are set to purge the system of the inequalities and the iniquities and evil tendencies that was corrosive and kept on ravaging the system. Do you think that would be a solution?
What would be a solution?
If we can purge the system, or do you think there is a solution to this? Because like you said earlier, it is the orientation. How can we change that narrative? Because a huge percentage of us are doing great stuff. We're working. Look at you left home probably 7 in the morning just to get to the office early enough, and you're probably close till late. Right? You work hard for it. I do the same, and a whole lot of Nigerians out there doing the same. But this little number, the minute piece of us, is defining who we are. And I don't think that should be. But what can we do to change that narrative?
As Nigerians, we have a lot of work to do in that regard. There has to be a total paradigm shift in our mentality, in our way of thinking. We have to go back down the old road we tread before in the 70s, where there were values. If you did wrong, there were penalties, and you had a sustainable community where, you know, if you did go to school, you had a job waiting for you. If you do business and you wronged the other party, you know there was a recourse to the law. And you knew that that recourse would be fair. It would not be a bought judgment. It would not be that the judge was dirty, or it would not be that the prosecutor was dirty. It would be that the rule of law took place and it would be like how we had it way back in the 60s and 70s whilst growing up. You know that growing up we had as simple as home inspectors who would come and examine your compound to make sure it was clean. So you still go back to the family unit, you still go back to the home. It has to start from home. Charity begins at home, foundation. Now we have pretty much, I wouldn't call it a lost generation, but a generation that needs to be reformed. And yes, and that reform has to be a national conscious reform. It has to be done like we did War Against Indiscipline. Wow. It has to be done like we did a lot of other programs. It has to be a national thing, and there has to be a lot of reform. Psychologically, Nigerians are good, but you have to put it in their conscious mind that, yes, we have to behave ourselves in our country and outside of our country. And it's got to be a lot of work because we do not want to derail. We're not looking good in front of the whole world.
TC, I just want to thank you. We run out of time, so I need to bring you back here, if your schedule permits, of course, so we can run through some of these things in details. This is like we're scanning through. I want us to run through it in details because it is people like you doing great things in the United States, people like us doing awesome things in the United States that are giving us good names, but unfortunately, we don't make the media, right? But the bad ones, in fact, social media is a global place. They say www is a world wide web. It's connecting everybody together. And so bad news travels fast, and it sells faster also. So maybe that's why it's good.
Nigerians are not all bad, I can tell you that. Nigerians are not all bad.
Yeah?
Yes.
It's not all of us.
No.
It's not all of us.
I wouldn't even say all. I'll say a few Nigerians are bad. A lot of Nigerians are, in fact, very good people.
And I've heard testimonies too.
So we'll keep hope alive.
Let's do that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
I appreciate it.
So, stay out of trouble. I'm just going to be candid with you guys. Stay out of trouble. Stop giving us bad names. We've had enough. It is time, maybe we should call it to revolutionize Nigeria or trying to change the narrative. You know, like he said earlier,
reform.
We have to change it. We have to revamp. We have to reform. And it has to start from the foundation, from your home, from your offices. Stop stealing pen, stop stealing paper or eraser to take it home to your children. If you can afford it, say it. There might be someone out there to help. We can do better. But guess what? Some are criminals, but it's not all of us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
My name is Dr. Victor Oderinde. I am Afrocentric.
Hi everybody, my name is Tomi Favored. I am a singer, songwriter, author, speaker, and a wife and a mother. I am very much Afrocentric.
Hi, my name is Adebola Williams. I am Afrocentric.
Hello and welcome back to my community on Afrocentric Television Channel 15.8. It was a sober reflection on the last part of this show. I just believe you enjoyed the first at least. And then, you know, while we try and strive to be better in the United States, I hope and pray that you do what's needful politically, legally, physically, and even emotionally, you know, to bring us back to where we need to be, which is the positive light. And that is what we always try to do here on Afrocentric Television. We talk about the good things Africans are doing in the United States, especially here in Houston, which is our immediate community. But again, we shouldn't, you know, that shouldn't define who we are. I don't think it should, at least. You know, be you. Keep doing positive things, keep doing great, keep inventing, keep starting small businesses. Because I'm sure you must have enjoyed, or our interview with the host of Afrifest. Please do come out there. Let's all get together. Let's all enjoy being Africans once again in the United States. Until next time, I remain your host of my community, Kola Akinmuyiwa. Please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Afrocentric Television. The Afrocentric is spelled with a K at the end. AFROCENTRIK Television. And follow us, like our page on Facebook, and also follow us on Instagram at Afrocentric TV. Until next time, stay out of trouble. Don't touch.